started with our koha-US general meeting. If you haven't attended one of our general meetings before, we hold these once a month online. Generally, we have people joining us in Zoom. Today, we are not doing that while we are using Zoom to broadcast out to our stream channel. People can make comments on the streaming channel, but today's general meeting is mostly live interaction here in the room. So we're taking care of our general meeting locally. So if you are watching the stream, please, if you have any comments, feel free to make comments online on the stream. So I want to thank everybody for joining us at the meeting. I know that not everybody sticks around for the general meeting. They have other things that they want to do during this time, but I always appreciate those that want to take part in our meetings. We like to be able to discuss what's going on in the community, talk about bugs, talk about some koha-US business. We do have a few things that we are covering today with koha-US business and some awards that we're handing out, some recognition. We also have some changes that we've made in the organization, plus some upcoming board member changes that we're preparing for. So we're going to be covering that today. Let me get my notes up here. Just before we get started, I wanted to do a quick introduction to recognize the folks on the board, make sure everybody knows who our board members are. I'm Christopher Brannon. I am the IT coordinator for the Fort Wayne Public Library, and I am the 2023 president for koha-US. And then I have for our vice president, Bob, that why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm the AspenCat Services Manager in Colorado, and I'm the Vice President. I'll be taking over as president next year.
All right, and the other board members, I did not have them. I did not tell them to be up here, but I'm going to have them run up here. So next, I'm going to introduce John. John, why don't you come on up? John is our financial manager.
I'm John Stervins. I've been the financial manager of koha-US since 2021 and served as the treasurer before that. It's always great to be involved with this group, and I'm the executive director of the Detroit Area Library Network, also known as DAWN.
And a big shout out to John because he really helps this organization function, and he does so not being part of the actual koha community in any library that is working with koha. So he is working with koha-US outside of his scope at this time. So thank you very much for your contribution. We also have, where is Georgette? Come on up. Georgette is our treasurer, who I bamboozled into being treasurer.
And I'm glad to do. Georgette Rogers, Circulation Supervisor at the Liberty Lake Library in Spokane, just outside of Spokane, Washington.
And guys, you can feel free to stay up here or go back to your seats or whatever you want to do. We also have Michael. Come on up. He is one of our members at large.
I'm Michael Adamic. I'm the Central Kansas Library System Digital Resources Manager, and I've been the supported rep for koha-US since last year.
And our other member at large is Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren Denny. I'm with Teamwork Library Consortium as their systems librarian and consultant librarian and jack of all trades. Just not the programming part. I run.
And not with us today is the koha-US secretary, who is Jennifer, and help me, I don't refer to her by her last name. Is it Marla? Marla. Okay.
Jennifer is watching on YouTube. She made a comment on YouTube. Do you want me to ask her to join the
Yeah,
Comes into the Zoom room. You want me to
yeah,
ask her?
she can join the Zoom room.
So if you hear that, Jennifer, if you come to the Zoom room, all of videos, you can be a bit floating that up on the screen.
All right, go ahead and have a seat wherever you like, up here or down or over there, hide, I don't know. But we are having a meeting, so I would like you to be a part of things if you can, so. All right, so sorry, my computer fell asleep here. I need my notes. There it is. All right, so top on our agenda, we have 3 positions on our board that are going to be rolling over the end of this year. The vice president always takes over as president the following year. So as mentioned, Bob will be taking over as president at the beginning of the year. Albeit I will be helping out with that transition because he has someone expected at the beginning of the year. A new little one coming in. So he will be taking over as president, but that will leave the vice president seat open. We also will be needing to re-up the secretary position. So Jennifer has served with us for a couple of years. It's time to re-up that position. And also our member at large unsupported, which Lauren has been gracious enough to fill in. So I sent you a message yesterday. I didn't get a response. Do you have any plans to try and run again on the position?
I will run, but Fred King is also available.
Right.
It's going to run, so you get a choice.
That position chiefly is for representation for libraries that don't have a vendor support. They're doing koha all on their own. So if any of you are interested that are unsupported, we welcome you to throw your hat in the ring for nomination on that position. But we welcome any member to run for a position in koha-US. If you are interested in being next year's vice president or secretary or member of large and supported, please let us know. And you can also let us know. You can let us know in person, or you can let us know via email. You can email us at info@koha-us.org, and we'd be happy to put you in for a nomination for that position. We will. Oh, question.
Sorry, here, hold on. There you go. Sorry for my ignorance. I'm trying to understand what do you mean by supported and unsupported. Is it supported by a vendor?
Support the member at large supported represents members that are supported by a vendor like Bywater, Catalyst, somebody that is managing their koha instance. So the unsupported is they're doing it on their own. They're the brave souls in the koha community.
No, while I don't want to take time at this point, but I'd be happy to know the unsupported vendors because I am part of the unsupported.
Yeah, and anytime you can reach out to our member at large. In this case, right now, it's Lauren, and she is the go-to person to connect with. Fred is also one of our unsupported members. He took this position a while back, and so he is another person to reach out to.
I had to ask this during my presentation. How many people here are unsupported besides me, Lauren?
All right. You folks are very brave for doing that without support them. When we went into koha, it's like, no, we're going to have somebody support us. I'm not going to take that on myself. So
We just want to be clear, it was not our choice, but
well, kudos to you. I appreciate it. All right. So again, let us know if you're interested in those positions. We do need to get them filled. All right. In addition, I wanted to mention the koha-US board talk this year, and we had created this position, a new position called the admin, and that person is basically designed so that we can manage the websites, our systems, anything that we are doing, like our koha-US demo site. And helping our board members in these transitions with changing over to their emails and connections to other resources that they have available to them. And so that I will be taking on that admin position when I leave the president position. And that's not a position that regularly changes. So my plan is to stay, to stay connected with koha-US. Our consortium actually hosts the website for koha-US, and so it made sense that I stayed on in some capacity to help them out. I just wanted to make the transition. I thought it would be good for us to have a position that maintained that knowledge in order to help the members in and out of their positions easily. So that's what that admin position is for, and that's what I'll be doing as I leave the presidency.
And if I may add, very quickly, that's what the financial manager position also does, is to keep, just like we're looking for stability in the administration of the services that we offer, and to help the board transition, financial manager does the same thing from the financial aspect, because if you haven't had to deal with opening bank accounts for a national organization lately, it's a pain. So to have one person work with the board without the term limit aspect of things, that really helps, and that's the difference between what I do and what Georgette does.
One big difference is the admin doesn't get a voting seat on the board. So I am purely there for technical support and not anything else. And it's also a position that is board appointed. It's not voted in.
Board appointed and member approved, like the financial manager.
All right, so moving on. Wanted to mention, if you came, right away and got one of the programs for the conference, that link on the back page that talks about the koha-US 2024 conference location proposals may not necessarily be a good QR code. We had a little slip up with
If
that
there's
code.
an X through it, it doesn't work. If there's not an X through it, it's the right one.
So if you have the bad one with the X, I wanted to let you know that I had updated the website for the conference. On the homepage, I removed the registration link for the conference on that first tab that says home and registration. And at the bottom, I did put a link in there to the site proposal form. So if you are interested in hosting next year's conference, which is super easy, right, Sarah? But if you're interested, please take a look at that, fill out that form, let us know that you are interested. We're always looking for new places to go, and if we don't, we may have to rehash some old locations. I know that we had thrown our hat in for a second, or we had thrown our name in as a location for a second time this last time, because we hadn't had any suggested proposal sites until Portsmouth came along, and then I think I just bowed out because I didn't want to make everybody choose between a new location and a rehashed location. So,
In all seriousness, I'd love to, if you have a capacity, it actually is extremely rewarding. I actually recommend it, and I might be able to help you be a good site for next year and do it confidently. So I will pass them on lessons learned.
did you have a?
Are you still looking at an east-west divide? Because I know that was a thing we used to do where it was like west. Here, she has a spider. Yes. Now, we used to do sort of East Coast, West Coast breakup. Is that something that you still shoot for?
We'll be happy to get whatever suggestions we get. So let's not discourage anybody who's done.
Yeah,
You know, one thing I would say is like Sarah, I agree that it's a lot of work, especially when as you're planning it, somebody says, hey, let's make the international conference. Lawrence gonna be happy to host again sometime in the future. That's one thing I would recommend is maybe space it out a little. If, like Christopher is a 5-year gap from the last time we're laying it in, which is an excellent amount of time you guys can cover. Also, I wanted to let you know that Jennifer is now in Zoom.
awesome. Well, at least your name is. Yeah, you know, I actually loved being a host. I loved doing all that stuff. I like it more than kind of doing the MC stuff and making sure everything is happening, although I was helping with that too, but that was actually one of the first times that we hosted something of that nature, especially in that building, and it was fun. We actually did a dual track for the first time there, and we had a complete dual track, which was really cool. And it was the first time that we tried anything online with hybrid. So there's Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. That was, I loved it. You know, so you know, don't let it scare you. We have learned a lot of things over the years, and so we ask a lot of questions on the forum just to make sure we cover all our bases and make sure that we can accommodate the conference, making sure that, you know, because we have grown over the years, and so we have to make sure that we have the space and we have the equipment, especially being a hybrid conference. You know, we're serving that group online. And by the way, you know, this is one of the bigger attendances that we've had. What was our attendance last year? Do you remember?
Attendance last year, we had in person was between 55 and 60, I think it was 58.
So how many actually showed up for this one? I know we had about 60, we had about 67, 68 people that said they were going to come, but how many actually came?
We're
About
counting
68.
55.
What's that?
We counted 55, did you count 68?
Yeah, we got some more. There were 2 people that didn't come. And then we had a few people that came like a day before or the day of. And so the official registered count is 72, so we should be at about 70.
All right. So
It's only about 55.
Okay. Well, you know, I have to say that's really impressive for us to match an international conference. It was a joint conference. So kudos to you for showing up and being here. I appreciate you being part of this group. I have been enjoying every moment of it. My most exciting time outside of, you know, listening to the presentations is the break times and listening to everybody just talk and having to settle you down when we're actually starting back up, because you're so interested in talking with each other. This is what this conference is about. And so I am so pleased to see this group growing. Our membership is up. What are we at now?
Oh boy.
We're in the 80s.
We might even be above 90 now, because we had a few people that came last minute also joined the organization. So
That's awesome. So if you joined, you know, you're a part of this group in that your membership goes towards our developments, our joint developments projects that we do. So thank you for that. But also it also goes towards you know, your membership goes towards being able to shape koha-US and shape our future in what we do and how we are working with the community.
Here you go.
What are the financial impacts of those things here?
Financial impacts. Well, you know, there isn't, you know, we try to keep costs as low as possible. You know, we are trying to make this, you know, easily affordable, because we are not for profit. We're not doing the conference for a profit. We are doing the conference for networking and for education. So we tried to avoid, we had 1 year where we didn't do a site at a library, and so we had costs there, but outside of that, we try to make sure that, you know, we're not impacted much on the financial side. The host, it's totally up to you. We had our friends involved. They donated some of the things that we did with food. That was a joint effort. I think that koha-US covered some things with food, but we threw some things in as well when we did it.
Correct.
We also covered some other aspects, but helping with the printing, you know, local printing, you know, the badges, the programs, that's a cost, of course, and you know, so I think it just varies on location.
It really does, and the biggest expense of any conference is not the meeting rooms. Those are notoriously cheap, where banquet facilities and catering halls get you is food and beverage and AV and support. And we have been able to avoid a lot of the costs associated with the AV and the technical support by having members offer up their facilities. And that's why we were able to keep registration. We've held registration at 35 for members, 55 for non-members since 2019. And that's pretty remarkable when you consider how expensive travel has generally gotten. Food and beverage costs, when we had the first 2 days last year in Maselli's, that was sponsored by a lot of different vendors. We actually had corporate sponsorship for the international event. And we paid more for 2 days at Maselli's than we had paid for the entirety of our 3 conferences before. All of the expenses, the food and the beverage, everything associated with it. And it's really rather amazing to see how all of that works out. There's a lot of costs that go into it, but koha-US reimburses you. I've got my checkbook out. I'm writing a checkbook here to Portsmouth for the stuff that they did to support us. And we're glad to be able to work with members and with people that are submitting bids to review potential costs that they think they might encounter, and that can be reimbursed moving forward.
I think for the most part, you know, koha-US tries to cover what we can, and you know, the library is welcome to throw in whatever they want, but we go in with the expectation that, you know, we're trying to cover the costs.
That's exactly right, and we are glad to be able to have been able to do that very successfully. Since 2017, that was the first conference I attended, which was the one Christopher hosted at Cortland.
I'd like to talk to you about afterwards.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy.
All right.
I would just like to say, Ed, that I would love to go to conference or to go next year. So please think about this.
Only in January.
Thanks for getting it.
All right. So yes, again, that link is on the conference page of the website. So if you go there, it's just on that first tab at the bottom. We want to talk briefly about some changes that are coming up in membership. And John, can I have you come up actually come up and talk about that a little bit?
For those of you that are relatively new to Koha, you may have been surprised by I'll call it an orthodox membership model that we have. Membership as a concept within koha-US has really only been in place since 2018. And when we were coming up with what we wanted to do with membership, it was decided by the board at the time that everything would be based on the calendar year. And even though it's only $25 per year, it was $25 per year, and we thought we'd give something a try, and we've used it relatively successfully. If you join after July 1st, it's not 25, it's $12.50. But all memberships expire at the end of the calendar year. Coming to next month's board meeting for vote by membership, very likely in November, is a change in that membership model that keeps it based on the calendar year, but eliminates the half-year membership. So whether you join on January 1st or whether you join the day you come here for the conference, it would be $25. This isn't ALA, this isn't PLA, this isn't any one of the organizations that charges several $100s for a membership. And so we're going to change that membership model around to just $25 per year. And for those that joined as a result of coming to the conference, there will still be a member rate and a non-member rate, but the non-member rate will automatically include membership. There won't be a click here if you want to do this and save money. The non-member rate will just give you membership in the organization. And everything gets all caught up, as it were, when we open up membership for the following year. So if you joined in the second half of the year, or whether you joined when we opened up membership in December of last year, you get a renewal invitation that the board certainly hopes that you will come in to and accept. So those changes will be reflected in the bylaws. For those that don't know, the membership rates that we charge, the $25 and the $12.50, that's not decided by the board, it's not decided by the membership, it's actually something that's right now in the bylaws. So if we wanted to change that, that would be due, or that would be subject to a vote by the members. But that's the membership change that's coming up. It'll help keep things a little bit simpler from my end, keeping track of the halves versus the fulls, and then everybody's just full, and it'll make the accounting for this, the conference a lot easier as well. So this is a change that will be coming based on your approval after discussion by the boards shortly. Yes, George.
Well, I think you just answered my question. So this is something we can vote against, right? If we want to make your life more complicated.
That is correct. You can say, what a stupid idea. I'm not going to vote for this. And that is certainly the right of the membership.
Well, that makes the next question. So everybody here,
I'm sorry.
so everybody in this room can vote on this.
It's,
So they're a member.
well, no, they're not members. That's starting next year.
So everybody that's a member.
That's right.
So you don't get a vote if you haven't paid the.
The 25 or 12.50, depending on who you signed up. That's correct. Any other questions about possible? Yes, Jim.
Steve at Ocean State and.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm just following the. Close Steve at Ocean State Libraries. Are you considering institutional memberships?
We're considering them, but we've had an incredibly difficult time trying to figure out what exactly an institutional membership would get, particularly when it comes to voting rights. An institution of 3 versus an institution of 250. Under most organizational models, both of those organizations would get a single vote. And that doesn't seem incredibly fair to us. That's why we, when everything was percolating with membership back in 2017 and 2018, we went with individual memberships only, not institutional, not consortial. And we still, even all these years later, with relative consistency across the board with positions like mine, and this is actually Christopher's second term as president, we've not really come up with a way to equitably account for something like that.
Well, I mean, everybody likes power, but. The biggest concern is that more an easy way to just pay for staff to, if I can just fill out one thing and send you a check and here's a list of people and it's done, instead of getting all these reimbursement forms, who's doing what, who's gonna pay with their credit card, who's gonna send it to me for me to pay for it. I'm just looking for an easy button.
Well, when it comes to renewals, that's actually, you'll get the renewal invitations all at the same time. So if you want to lump them together, terrific, that makes my job easier too. If you're in the system already, it becomes a lot easier to help consolidate those types of efforts. And everything, when it comes to membership, and actually a lot of things in this organization, they're all manually kept records. We've got a master membership roster that goes all the way back to 2018. We know who was here, who wasn't here. The basis for the 5-year awards is based on stuff like that. There's no automated way that we have in place because that costs money. And it is not our goal to spend money. It's our job to save money so that we can use it towards developments and other initiatives.
I've got another question back here real quick. So let's say somebody feels like $25 a year is really cheap and they want to donate money to koha-US. Is there a way to do that?
You asked that at just the right time. On our webpage, koha-US.org, I believe it is /donate. There is always the ability to set up a recurring or one-time donation to the organization. We keep track of those separately. Membership, what is collected in membership is tracked in a separate account from what is tracked for donations. And that's always welcome, whether it's just a general donation for the organization or a donation in support of the conference, which is usually more common when we join forces with the international community. But donations are available and accepted through a variety of means, including PayPal or the ability to send a check to the organization.
There's a question.
Hi, John.
John.
But
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the clarification on radios, but still, his question remains. What about institutional membership where the process becomes easy for the institution? We understand you're mentioning about the voting rights, that's a different topic. It's all right, I mean, whatever the board and the members decide, one vote, no matter how many members that are part of the institutional membership. That's a different matter, but for the sake of ease to get the approvals and reimbursements and all that story, that's something can be considered. Thank you.
So Montgomery County, my assistant director paid for our memberships for a bunch of us.
Mhm.
And he basically just sent us a link on Teams and was like, here, fill out this form and click the button at the bottom that says my institution's gonna pay for me, and then he got one invoice.
That's right.
So it's not terrible, I don't think.
We'll make sure that the membership form usually doesn't change very much from year to year. We've made little tweaks and my institution will pay or send me an invoice. I forget exactly how it's worded. We can accommodate all of that. And if you want to wait until you've got all the people that are interested from your group to join, you let me know. I put together an invoice. It takes me 20 seconds because it's all template oriented. We can accommodate, multiple things at once. We can accommodate invoice generation. Everybody in this room will receive a receipt after all of the accounting for this is done, because we're a 501c3, and so what is not used to cover conference expenses is eligible to be used as a donation to the organization, and you'll all get receipts to that extent. It's very easy. Even though only individual memberships are supported, it's actually very easy to combine things so that there's a lot less work on your end as well. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so those changes are mostly, we're not trying to, the price change was not because we're desperate for funds. The price change was so that we could simplify the paperwork. Again, we have a volunteer, he spends a lot of time, probably much more than any other board member, working on a very important and critical aspect of a nonprofit organization. So I'm trying to find ways that we can simplify the process both on your end of things and on his end of things, and not have all these different conditions and changes, or half year we have to rebuild the registration form and do all these weird gymnastics in order to have a membership. We want membership to be easy, and it is low costs, and so we want to keep it low cost. So we're just trying to simplify the process all around, and that's mostly what's driving this. And we can definitely have talks about the signups to make it more accommodating for for an organization to sign up multiple people, maybe in the future. And I see the difference between the sign up process and what that means on the other end with the membership. So we can't do much right now on the membership side of is an institutional member something different than a single member, but we certainly can do something to try to help that process in signing up.
That's right. And when we started, the organization was incorporated in 2016. We didn't have membership in 2017, 2018 was the first year. We put things together and said, let's try this. And now we're seeing, yeah, it generally works, but there are some tweaks that we need to make. the elimination of the half-year memberships is one of them. The ability to be able to allow organizations to submit multiple pieces of information for the purposes of billing. You know, these are things that we're now making adjustments to. Not really doing this for a few years.
All right, thank you.
So I guess the one thing, I think this is a comment, not a question, is this is a great time if you've got strong feelings about membership and institutional membership and costs and all these things. A great way to influence the organization is to come to meetings, and an even better way is to run for office.
Absolutely.
And because this is a democracy, this is not Jason's version of democracy. And so it's all based on what the membership wants to do. So.
Right, yeah, being involved on the board, I'll tell you, I have enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that I ran for president a second time. It's a little different from the first time that I ran because it's there's a little bit more involved with it. We've grown since the first time I was president, but I will tell you, it is rewarding to be here and to make a difference. I am always looking out for our community in the organization, but I'm also looking out for our volunteer board members. They don't get paid anything. We don't get paid anything. We simply do this because we love being part of Koha and we want to make it better. And so that's why we're here. And so we are in a position to try and help shape things, but we're not in a position where we're dictating things. We give power back to the members. So whether you're a member or you're a board member, both are vital, and we need you in both places. So if you're neither, we hope that you become one of them. So please, at least become a member and join us in those efforts, but get to know us and get to know how we function. And I hope it encourages you to become involved on the board as well.
I guess, I'm hogging the microphone back here because it happens to be in my hand. But Robin Hastings is not here. She was I think the second president of koha-US. And so one other thing I would say about elections to the board is if Robin were here, the one thing she would say is there are more men on this board than there are women. And that would bother her, and she would encourage women that are in the audience that are members. She would encourage all of you that, if you want to see a less male board, this is your opportunity to run for office on the board.
You remember that one year that we had 3 Chris's on the board? That was
I remember that one too. And let me say too, as one of the newest board members, which thank you for that hosting me, I have had a great time learning how this organization runs and working with everyone here and being in the meetings. And so if you do, it's not a scary thing. We're not these scary monsters. So being, run for one of the open board members, it's a lot, or board position, it's a lot of fun and it's educational and it really does support and you can really network. George?
Microphone's here.
Counterpoint, someone who have been on the board decided that we don't want to call
Yes.
maybe we're too smart.
Jason is telling me there's a comment on the YouTube feed too, so I'm going to give the microphone again. Let him read it.
Yeah, sure, why not? So Chanel Wheeler in the YouTube chat wants to know, what do you get for membership besides a cheaper conference rate?
Mostly, as we said, it's voting rights within the organization. So the 2 key components of membership is your membership goes towards development. We try to get those funds mostly towards development. It helps with the conference as well to some degree, but for the majority of membership fees, we try to point that at development with as much as possible. But the other part of that is voting. Voting is very important. We want people to be able to have a voice on how our organization works, and we vote on things like changes to our bylaws, but also what kind of developments that we are focusing on. Those are important, and we don't want we don't want the board sitting around thinking, okay, we're gonna focus on this development. We want feedback from the community, but we're doing that in such a way, we want the membership to have that voice.
Also, during academic, the points for tenure, or something else, service on a board can help advance your career. For example, I'm a member of the Academy of Health Information Professionals. We do sort of have service. Ideally, you need to write an article or two, and the community, or it's like continuing education. And I think my membership on the board helped towards that. Of course, so I wanted to add, and this is George again, one of the, I've managed the conference evaluation survey for the last, I think since Pueblo or Portland. We always do there, it's in your program, there's a QR code to scan to go to a conference survey, an evaluation form. And one of the things that people get to vote on if they are a member is the location of the conference. There will be proposals for where the conference next year will be. And there will be a vote among the members over where to have the conference. And one of the things I find frustrating is that when you look at the conference evaluation and people will say, why did you have it in Pueblo? It was so far from the airport. And I never get the chance to say to those people, this was chosen by the members. And if you're not happy with the fact that Portsmouth was a long way from the airport, next year, vote for a major city that proposes it. You know, we're having these conferences in these locations because that's what we've selected as the members. So if you're not a member and you're not happy with the 45-minute drive from Kansas City to Lawrence last year, well, that's something that you can have a say in if you're a member.
But keep in mind, you know, again, we are trying to keep costs low, and libraries are hosting, and libraries aren't conveniently located next to airports. So there is some give and take on that. So we're trying to be accommodating in as many ways as possible. But you know, not everybody's going to be happy about every aspect of the conference. But you know, we try to do the best we can to listen to everybody's concerns and needs.
I won't even bring up all the people that said, why are you having in Texas? They just changed some laws there. They're not happy with this.
Oh, I forgot all of it about there. Y'all never forget that.
All right, let's move on real quick here. We still have several things that we need to cover. Real quick, I'm going to hand this over to Bob, who's going to be talking about our development updates.
All right, so as vice president, one of the roles I get to do is run the development committee. We recently voted in a change to our process. If you saw my presentation a couple days ago, they kind of got into some more detail of that, but the goal is to make it easier for people, less onerous to submit developments.
Excuse me for a second, Bob. There is, for the benefit of the people watching online, if you stand a little closer to the lectern.
I will just come over here. Thank you. So the development process should be, the next go around we do should be a little easier. And when you do go to vote, there are going to be more options drawn from a larger group. So that's the main update I have for the committee. We will determine once this is clear, this major thing of putting on a conference, when we want to go out to a vote now that we have that process in place. We do have a development that to make the self-checkout be able to batch checkout RFID. So that is in progress. Last I heard that we would be ready for some testing on that soon. What soon means, I will clarify probably next week, because it was a couple of weeks ago they said soon. So part of the fun of being on the development committee is interacting with the vendors and just lots of checking in and updates. So By the time we have our next general meeting, hopefully I'll have a little bit more information on that.
All right. You can check out our website, look up the page on developments. You can find out more about developments and how that process goes. We updated the information on there with our new workflow that was voted in by members. So please check that out. All right. Next on the docket is awards. So we have several people that are receiving their 5-year pin. Unfortunately, only 2 of them are here at this time. And so I will read off the folks that are not present, and then I will read off the ones that are. So let me sort through this here. And I take this is one of the ones that are present. Right. Okay. Right, so receiving their 5-year certificate, they've been a paid member for 5 years. And they will be receiving their certificate, and they get this flashy little 5-year pin. So congratulations for sticking with us that long. So first on my list is Todd Goatley Seals. He's actually part of Bywater. And I will actually, can you grab another thing? Because I'll hand it off to them since Bywater's here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Todd. Also, on the 5-year mark here is Jennifer Marlett. Congratulations, Jennifer. I think it's not here. Act like you're grabbing. Also, Carol Park, Carol Pham, and due to a technicality this year, Lisette Shear is receiving her 5-year pin. She should have been on there last year, but we're doing it this year for her. So thank you, Lisette, for being part of the team. She's actually a past president as well. Oh,
She's on the line.
I'm gonna grab another one.
Todd and Lizette next week, or 2 weeks, so we'll give it the number.
Oh, hey, you gotta pose again. All right, so for the 2 that are here, gonna start off with okay. I am sorry, again, I don't refer to a lot of people by their last names, so please forgive me. Michael Spagnuolo, is it Nuola or Nuolo? Michael, are you here? Okay, well, Michael, when you are around, we have your pin for you that I made John run back for, but we have your pin. So come see me when you are around. Also receiving their 5-year pin is Bob Denhofer, Vice President. All right, so that is it for official business. We still have, let's see here, we are going till 11:45, so we have 20 minutes to talk about more general stuff, and this is what we're all about. We're here for the 10 minutes.
Just to let you know too, that Carol is watching on YouTube and she says thank you.
All right.
Lizette's watching too, but she hasn't said anything.
Let's start with the care apparently. Okay, so yeah, we have, 10 minutes to open up the floor for general discussion about things. This is the part where you get to speak up and talk about what's going on at your library, what's on your scope, what are your concerns in the Koha community that you'd like to have more discussion about, ask questions of other people. Hey, do you know why this does this? That sort of thing. So is anything pressing on your Koha radar right now.
I do have a quick announcement. It sounds like we may be forming an ERM special interest group.
Oh, wow. Awesome. I hadn't.
It all came together in the last hour.
Wow. So are Jesse and Kelly going to lead that one?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. What else? What else is going on in the community?
When are we getting fertilization in Koha?
What's that? What was that?
She asked when they were getting fertilization in Koha, when somebody works on it.
The question was, when were you getting fertilization in Koha? And Nick says he's doing it next week.
No, we'd love to do it. It is a big development and it just needs to get some people behind it, working on it. How would people want to sponsor that?
Okay, hold on a second. Let's get some mics going around.
Yeah.
If you have a mic, help get the people that are coming.
Let me ask first and then we pass it back.
So you're talking about fertilization in Koha, how would it differ from Aspen's implementation fertilization?
So I'm not Mark, so I don't know this, but what I have heard Mark saying in the past, that what they do is not exactly fertilization, it is record grouping. And how Koha would handle it, I mean, I cannot answer, the discussion is on there's a bucket community, there's been discussion there. We'd like to handle it in some sort of sensible record way. I don't know that RDA fully provides that ability or how we can implement it. So please add your voice to the discussion. And I think ultimately it's just when we have a champion and we have like someone sponsoring a developer to work on it, then we'll kind of see how it moves forward. But we will definitely want input from the community. Because this will be a big change for everyone and we want to make sure that we do it the way that the libraries would like it to be done.
I think it is on the dev site, if I wanted to.
It's on our crowdfunding site. It has a not insignificant number attached to it.
Yeah.
The pub number is 15500. I think there is another one, but so yes, we would love to have that. There's a lot of things, you know, the developers would love to do for Koha. It's a matter of there being only a limited number of us and there's only 24 hours in every day. So if we can get a few more of those, that would help.
What else? What else is on people's radar or wish lists?
This is Sarah from Portsmouth. We've been chewing on this idea for a while because during COVID, we started to work on a lot of recommendation list curation. And so we started to use lists fairly heavily. Is anybody else interested in working on making that actually useful? I'm at the point where I couldn't write a spec. I couldn't write a spec and I would have to do a lot of thought about where we want it to go. And right now we just basically have some web pages and some links and if anybody wants to think about that with me, that would be great.
You should call me. This is actually, we have a spec if you would like to see it.
Yes, please.
Who are you?
I've been from Fargo. I will say we proposed this.
And your mic to.
Yeah, we did propose it about 6 years ago and Bywater wasn't interested in the development at that time, so it probably needs some changes. But yeah.
I'm interested and I want to know where you're headed with that. Because we have had some shifts in like who's working on what, and our lists were originally curated, we kind of left them dead in the water, and then we've always had like summer reading committees who want to come in the middle of a big spray if people leave. And so there's gotta be some better ways of controlling things besides people's individual user accounts that I think is our pain point.
This is Sherry from Blue Domain. I also want to jump in on this because right now we're using this for, new things in a month, summer reading lists. But I want to distinguish between library list and patron list.
Yes.
Yes. Because I have a very non-medical friendly community who loves that, and it looks like it's coming from our library.
I think I might send out a message and maybe we'll do a Zoom meeting. Awesome, thank you.
Have you considered, I mean, is it? I get what you're saying. I mean, have you considered just putting some sort of identifier in the name of the list to identify what's library and what's not?
Yes, but when you actually then click into the list, it disappears. So you really don't know. You really don't know if it's coming from patron or if it's coming from the library.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember what it is, you know, it's jogging my memory, but I remember there are a couple deficiencies. Well, you know, when you click into the list, you lose some information. I can't remember if that was it or if there was something else. I might have touched on it a while back, but it's just like stirring some memories that are cobwebbed in my brain right now.
Yeah, so a staff member went in and actually deleted the patron list. And then we had to put in a ticket to see if we could restore the list. That is also not a thing.
Were you allowing patrons to make public lists?
Yes. For real, yes,
Like, you want that to be that way.
yes.
Okay.
So for us at Next Search Camelot, we've always allowed patrons to be public lists, and actually we're in the process of removing that ability for patrons. And now that we have the ability as system administrator, I can go in and make a list that I didn't create. I can change it from public to private. I'm going to change all the patron lists to private, take away the ability to create for patrons to create public lists, and then only staff will be able to create lists. That's the way I'm approaching it. Of course, now the problem I have is that the 50 libraries, I've got some staff members that are creating that lists here. So I have that.
All right. You know, this discussion reminds me too, I was looking at lists, you know, not on the same topic, but I was looking at lists. I was trying to further my development on the ongoing saga of displays. You know, we all approach displays in different ways within our libraries and our systems. And I was, you know, we have some staff members that have created lists for displays, but I was thinking, wouldn't it be nice if there was in a list, if we were using a list for a specific purpose, like displays, that we could say, yeah, I want this noted when the item is checked in, so we know, oh, this is on, you know, this display list, so that they know when they're checking it in, it goes back out there. So when we're done with the display, we remove the list, it doesn't pop up anymore. But some way to make staff aware when things are checked in that it's part of that collection that could be displayed for a special reason. So, oh,
Sorry, I'm going.
I know we've worked on it in different ways. I know that we used course reserves and hijacked that for some things, but that didn't quite work for our purpose.
Yeah, so it was Jason Kraske. I did a presentation on changing course reserves to on-display here. But I mostly just wanted to put in the plug for debug 12141, which is the equivalent of the dedicated on-display module to rattle that bug.
What was that number again?
12141.
Perfect. Everybody go on there and start commenting away.
And as I've been saying all week, go to that bug, change the discussion out of +1. Everything that Nick said not to do, go ahead and do that bug.
Christopher, this is included in such and such a list, it's already included in the detail screen. So clearly it can be done.
Okay. All right. Talk to you a little later on that one. All right. Well, we are out of time here, folks. We went over just a little bit here. But it is now time to close up shop for our general meeting for September. And we will reconvene with our general meeting on the second Wednesday of next month. So please join us again online. We look forward to seeing more of you there and participating. And it is now time for lunch on your own. So thank you very much. We will reconvene here at 1 o'clock. So enjoy your lunches.
And I just wanted to add really quick, if anybody wants to talk to myself or Christopher about vice president, please reach out.